Hey, you ready for a video?
Yep.
Let's do it. Welcome back, guys, to Paranormal. More normal than we think. Today I actually released Cody from my basement because, that's where I keep him between interviews. And he's going to join us on interviewing Marie. She's got a ton of UFO pictures that she's gathered from all over the years and all over the world, really. So we're just going to let her take off. Well, what would you say your most vivid experience was, if you don't mind me asking?
Um, it was when I was with my husband and my daughter. My daughter sadly died now, but she was about
I'm
6 at the
sorry.
time. And thanks. What happened was we were in my flat in London and we were still up watching a movie. And my daughter woke up. She used to go to bed all the time. Never woke up crying. Never had nightmares, anything like that. Never afraid of the dark. Nothing like that. And she wasn't one of those kids who thought there was monsters under the bed. Nothing ever bothered her like that. And she woke up one night screaming. She said, "The room is shaking. The room is shaking." She said the building was falling down. She thought the whole building was falling down.
Oh
And
no.
we didn't feel anything. I said, "No, it's nothing. You must have had a dream." She kept saying, "It wasn't a dream. It wasn't a dream." So I said, "Do you want to sleep in our bed?" She was a bit upset. And she said, "Yeah, please, please." So I said to my husband, "I'm taking her into our bed. She's had nightmares." I still thought it was a nightmare at that time. So I took her into bed and we were just lying there and I was trying to make her giggle and forget about it, things like that. And suddenly through the gap in the curtain, the split where the two curtains meet, through that gap in the curtain, something like sort of shot me in the eye like a light, like a laser light. And I thought it was weird straight away because there's nothing. I was on the fourth floor and there was nothing out there that high or lights that could get me in the eye like that. We were too high up for lampposts or anything like that. And helicopters, I would have heard it or anything like that. But I jumped up to the window straight away. I knew it was weird. And I saw this. This was before I started seeing any orbs or anything like that, or any of the ships. I didn't really see that many up to that point, and this was in I think it was 1998, I think it was. Yeah, it was 1998. So I hadn't seen any major craft, maybe small dots up in the sky, things like that. But I'd had some experiences like sleep paralysis and other things like that. But not seeing ships or craft. And I looked up in the sky when I was out there in the night time sometimes. Saw things like shooting stars flying across the sky. That's about it. But I looked out the window and saw this great big glowy ball, I described it. It was like the moon, but it was down much lower and it was much bigger, and it was just directly over the building opposite me, like facing me. And I ran and I thought, "Oh my God, it's a UFO!" I mean, it couldn't have been anything else. And I ran into my husband. I said, "Quick, look out the window! Look out the window!" And this is where it got really strange. He was sort of not even keen. He was like, "Oh, something like, oh yeah, whatever," or something like that. Wasn't his normal self. And I ran back into the bedroom. My daughter and I carried on watching it. Then suddenly, it was 6 o'clock in the morning. That was about 10 to 1 a.m. It was dark. Suddenly, it was 6 o'clock in the morning, and I remember it was daylight. I think my daughter was asleep in bed. I don't know where my husband was. I don't remember him being. Did he come to bed? Did I go to bed? But I was still standing at the window, just standing there where I was at 1 o'clock. And it didn't register with me. I just went about my business. I can't even remember if it was a weekend or if it was a work day or what. I was working that time as a head of finance for a company. So I couldn't really have a day off and not notice. But I didn't remember anything for a few weeks. And then suddenly I was in the bathroom at work, in the kitchen, I think, or the bathroom, one of those. And two of the girls were talking about a UFO that they'd seen on TV. And when they said UFO, it clicked in my head. I suddenly remember that night, and I thought, "Oh my God, how on earth could I forget that?" I just couldn't believe I'd forgotten it. I remembered seeing the big glowy ball. I remember running into my husband. I remember it was 1 o'clock, and then I remember it was 6 o'clock, and then throughout the day, it started to register 6 o'clock. And in my mind, it was, "You watched it for 5 hours. You watched it for 5 hours." That was going over in my mind. And I was thinking, "Oh," and then it suddenly registered, "You watched it for 5 hours." And I said, "No, I didn't. I didn't watch that for 5 hours, just standing there. It's ridiculous." But somebody put that thought in my head. I did not stand there watching it for 5 hours. It was only like about 2 minutes to me. That's all it felt like. And then suddenly it was morning, and that was it. And I got rushed home from work, ran in, said to my husband, "Remember the other night, do you remember?" And he didn't remember anything at all, but my daughter remembered everything that I remembered. And she said, "You said it wasn't a dream, or was a dream. It wasn't a dream. The building was shaking, and I heard it." And she said, "I saw them as well." And I kept saying, "What did you say?" But at that time, I still didn't. It didn't register that she'd seen so much. But she reckons something came in her room, and she was floating above the bed, and it was something was like lifting her off the bed. That's when she started screaming. But I should have listened a bit more carefully. But at that time, it all hadn't registered. It took quite a while, about a year, for everything to fit. And then I started getting some memories back. I remember like being on a craft and with beings there. I don't remember what they looked like. I didn't see them. I just sort of felt them behind me, sort of thing. And I was walking, and they were showing me things on the ship. So I remember I was missing for 5 hours. I remember something like about 5 minutes. That's all. But funny enough, my husband and I are divorced now, but we're still friends. And he lives in Australia, but he did come to London a few years ago, and we had dinner. And he said to me, "I remember everything now." He said, "You were right." He said, "You were right about everything." And I said, "Oh my God." He says, I'm finding it really hard to deal with." He says, "But I remember the same as you remember as well." So he's admitting it after all this time. He used to say he didn't remember, and he never did remember. He said, "Oh, I don't remember that." But I had sleep paralysis a few times, and that's the most scariest thing. But I haven't had it much, maybe about 5 times in my life. But that's what I thought it was until I looked it up and then realized it is a bit the same because you're paralyzed, but it's not the same, if you know what I mean. So it's been misinterpreted, I think, in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I've had
Um,
sleep paralysis. I've had it several times. It just
I
started
had
happening
very,
recently.
oh, it's horrible, isn't it?
Oh, it's the worst. It's
It's
the
horrible.
worst.
I had it when I was younger. I haven't had it for a long time now, but it's like you forget about it till you have the next one. And then when you have the next episode, it's like, "Oh my God, this is so familiar. I've had it so many
Yep.
times." It's
Yep,
so
yep, yep.
weird, and it's like a really old, scary feeling coming back.
Yes,
That's how
ma'am.
I felt anyway. Is that how you felt as
Oh
well?
yeah, no doubt.
Right.
I have this terrible reoccurring nightmare of bears and snakes. That's always been my nightmares. I don't know why, but as soon as I started having sleep paralysis, the snakes went from being in my head to being on me in real life.
Oh
So
gosh,
it's just no bueno. I
it's
don't enjoy it.
terrifying. So I wouldn't wish that on anybody, but I think mine weren't. I didn't see some old horrible being there, or it was like light, really bright, and I knew there was something in the corner of the room down the bottom of my bed. I always knew there was something there, but I can't move my eyes down. I'm lying because I sleep on my back, and so all I could see was like the ceiling. I'd be trying to look right down there, but you just can't move anything. It's horrible. So I could never see what was actually in the room. But that's the feeling I got. I never actually saw anything, thank God.
Yeah.
I think it would remain with me for a long time if I saw something terrible.
Oh, I'm sure it would. Cody, do you remember by chance AJ telling us about how she had her experience where her husband and her daughter both don't they just don't remember it at all? But
Yeah,
she
it was at a
remembers it.
pool.
It's always a similar scenario, isn't
Very
it?
similar.
So I had my first experience when I was 18 with my ex-boyfriend, and my first boyfriend rather. And we'd been together about a year, and I stayed over at his house one night. His parents were away, and all I remember is we were asleep, and I remember waking up, and I remember now later it was 3 o'clock in the morning. It was about 3 a.m., something like that, really early hours. And I woke up to all this noise. It was unbelievable. The door, bedroom door, was slamming by itself, slamming shut, open, close, open, open, close, slamming, slamming. And there was some wardrobes in the hallway, and the doors to that was slamming. And I remember we had some chrome bars as well, and they were literally jumping off the ground and making all this noise. And I woke up thinking, "Oh my God, what is it? What is it?" But it lasted maybe 5 seconds after I woke
Jeez.
up, and it stopped. And my
What is
boyfriend was there in the corner of the room, and he had this crucifix and some medals he wore around his neck, and he was holding on to these and praying. and his face, he looked like, well, he looked like he'd seen the devil or something. He looked like really freaked out, and he was just incoherent. And I thought it was a ghost, a poltergeist or something. Aliens at that time never came into my head because I'd had sleep paralysis. I'd had things when I was a child, and my mum said I used to wake up screaming, saying there was people coming out of the wall to get me. That was like recurring when I was a child, but I never saw ships or lights or anything like that. But I always spoke about aliens. I always said to my mum, "It's aliens, it's aliens." Never said it was ghosts or anything. So when it's something like that, like the door slamming or lights going on off by themselves, I never associated them at all with the alien stuff. I always thought it was ghosts or poltergeists until I know better now. I know now it is all connected. But at that time, I was a teenager. I didn't know anything. I know a lot more now. I just didn't. It was all learning. Everything was a new experience for the first time, so I didn't know anything. And so he started saying, I don't even know if he was saying aliens that night, but I said, I'm going home, I'm going home. Come with me, you better come. And he said, no, I'm not going, I'm not going. He was screaming, I'm not going. I said, well, I'm going. And I legged it up the road, ran home. It was only up the road to my mum's. And my mum sort of blamed me. It's your fault, because I used to read about different things, UFOs, and I was very interested because I had an interest because of what was happening, and adults couldn't tell me what was going on, and they didn't believe me anyway. And so I had to look for myself and look for answers. So I was always a researcher from the early days.
That is pretty
Yeah, so
terrifying. So let's
that is
let's begin
terrifying.
with this UFO picture. This is the one that piques my interest
Oh yeah,
the
yeah, this
most,
is a good one. Yeah,
and then we'll go to the one that Cody is, well, kind of both of us are interested in, the yellow orb. But first, let's talk about this one real quick. So
yeah.
where
This
were
it's not
you?
real quick because I have a few more of these. This was a series of about 30 photographs I took in a day, and I just got the feeling there's something there. It was in my back garden again. Everything's taken over my back garden. I don't go out looking for UFOs. It's all in the same place wherever I am. I just go out and there's something there. Or I say, show yourselves, let's have some photographs, and they'll turn up or something. So I never really go out looking and sitting there on top of a mountain all night. So this day, I was sunbathing out there and I just fancied taking some photographs, and the sky was clear as anything. And then I saw a plane and it was leaving this chemtrail. It looked quite nice against the sky, so I started taking pictures of that. And I didn't find these pictures for about a year later again. Didn't look at them. Something one day, I was just looking at them one day, and something made me zoom in on this photograph, and I saw there was 6 objects in a semicircle, but they were really bright light orbs. And throughout the day, I must have got about 30 photos altogether at different parts of the sky. So I was going click, click, click and moving, and they were moving with the speed of a click to the other side of the sky. So they were like everywhere, but I sent you the clearest ones. Some of them not as clear. They're there, but they're not as clear. You can't zoom in on them like the ones you sent. I sent you, but and then later on, I saw this little gold craft was with one of the orbs. It's a little gold craft. That is, if you see the clear picture of the picture and you zoom in yourself, you can see it in a bit clearer. 'Cause I've actually cropped it here. But there's that little gold craft with it and an orb, and I thought, yeah, there is there. In one picture is with an orb, so I thought it knows the orbs is with the orb, an orb. And then I saw it with the 6. In that photograph, there's 5 there, but there was one below. I couldn't get it in, but there were 6 of them, and they're the 6 orbs. So I know this is how I know. I've seen the black craft, and they can appear as an orb of light, big bright orb that people see. And it can be various different crafts as well. I've seen them morph into different crafts and then back into an orb in mid-flight as well. So I know those ones can definitely be seen as orbs of light. And I've got the photographs there to prove that the other ones are the orbs, and you can zoom right in on them. They're lovely colours, and mauve and yellow, and they come down quite low sometimes. I notice as well, these black crafts, when they come down certain levels, they appear differently. I think they appear as the orbs when they're really high up, and then they come down, and then you can see them as black craft. And then when they come down, 1 or 2 came down to just above tree level. It really scared me. They appear as a shadow, just a scary shadow. It's very scary. And I've filmed that several times. I call those shadow craft, but I've got several of those. Just a shadow, round, circular shadow. You can almost see through it.
Very
So,
intimidating.
oh, it's very scary when you see a craft of any size coming down, even if it's a big balloon or whatever you call them, blimps or anything. To come down so low and just be there, like stationary and like watching. I know they're watching me. I can feel it. You know, why are they? Why would they be there? They're coming to have a look at something. I really don't know. I wish I knew, and this is what I'm looking for the answers for. Like, what do they want with me and people like me that they seem to have a connection with? I just don't know.
Do you have
Wish I
any
knew.
hunches as to what you think it would be that they want?
I thought maybe they're tracing some sort of bloodline or some sort of first humans or something like that, or maybe they put a bunch of humans here to start off again, you know. And I think the world has had catastrophic events over a few times over, and we've started again from scratch, and you know, build up a few humans that are left, or maybe they take some humans away and bring them back when it's safe. But I think we're older than we think.
I
Like
agree with
millions of
that.
years older.
I agree
And
wholeheartedly with that.
there's too much buried, and too many big buildings being buried, and too much. And it's like what it always reminds me of is you know, those programs on TV, Desert Island. They put a bunch of people on a desert island and they give them maybe a stick and a piece of wire. They know instinctively, because they know what they know. They can do a few things, you know. They can make a fire and this. And the humans that used to come here, they knew how to do these basic things, and there was like no gradual leading up to it. They knew how to grind flour. They knew how to do vegetables and things like that, and eat things. I know it was all time and effort, but there seems to be more knowledge there than there should be, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. It just reminds me of a few campers going out foraging. They seem to know what they're looking for, if that makes sense.
Kind of a instinctual type deal. It's just kind of ingrained in our
Yeah,
DNA.
yeah, something like that. I think the planets in our solar system were perhaps inhabited in the past, and we're just the remnants of all those planets were all dumped here. Save a few from there, a few from Mars, a few from Pluto. That's why so many different people in here, and they just dumped everything here, that things that don't get on together, and why it's all so negative. You know, there's a lot of negativity in the world. I think all the wars and everything else.
I enjoy that theory. I've not heard that one yet because it makes a lot of sense too.
Yeah, I try to make sense of things.
Because I mean,
'Cause
what
I'm,
I could
I'm a black
see,
and white person.
what I could see happening is them taking these beings from all these different planets and whatnot, and with their advanced technology, they could, you know, make them look somewhat similar. Because as you know, humans absolutely cannot stand things that look different from them for some stupid
Yeah.
reason. So they made them look all the same and then plop them here. So I mean, it makes
And
sense.
over time as well, yeah, over time with the you know, evolution as well plays its part with people, you know, over time. And you can see where they would merge together. You can see now how everyone's migrating, all the wars, and people are migrating here. So they're all going to be, you know, procreating, I suppose. And I believe this happened in the past, maybe with other beings. I do believe there were different kinds of beings on there, maybe 3 or 4, even 5 different types, and they intermingled at some stage. And eventually, the weakest ones are going to die out, aren't they?
Well,
They get less and less.
there's actually quite a few stories about people having these female aliens come into their bedroom. Of course, most of them are men, but come into their bedroom and try and procreate with them. There was actually a Spanish person, I do believe was the last one I listened to, where the woman came up in there, did the deed, and then just said, "Deuces, you won't ever see your kid. Bye." That was literally it. More power to him, I guess. I couldn't do it.
I've
Ain't
heard
no
a
way.
few of those, yeah. Somebody actually got a hair, didn't they? They said they got a hair
Yeah, I do believe.
from her. I don't know if that was real, or I don't know. I don't remember reading the outcome of the DNA. But he said he was going to prove she was from another planet.
And of course, we hear nothing about that either. So there's
No.
there's no telling if he did or didn't. The government could cover it
Yeah.
up, or he may not have ever gotten a hair. But here's the one that me and Cody were talking about just before we started recording, and
Yeah.
we're very interested in this. I'll let Cody take the lead on this one.
Most of what caught my eye was that the orb is in front. Like, it looks like it's like twigs, like small, like maybe like from a bush or something. I don't know how close
It's
you
a
are.
tree. That's a tree. A plum
Okay.
tree.
But what caught my interest was that the orb is in front of like one of the branches.
Yeah.
So it's like in between the like stems branches of the
Oh, it is. Yeah,
the
I
tree.
can see it in the zoom one. Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, so that's what caught my attention with this one. It's just a very small light. Yeah.
That was tiny, actually. I found another photo of this. I thought I only got one photo because it's so quick. And sometimes I just get a feeling to put my camera on and something will appear. It's weird. But
very
I got
intuitive.
that on the day. I was filming some UFOs. There'd been some there in the daytime, some black ones, or black circle ones, 5 of them. And then on this, oh yeah, what I noticed actually, there's a beam, like a sunbeam, coming through the trees. And I thought, oh, that's really nice. And I took a photo of that. And then I saw this little orange thing. So in the other photograph I found it recently. It's flying. I'll send that to you later, by email. But I just found it recently, and it's actually flying. So it's got a little bit of a trail on it as well. And then that one is a very clear one. So whatever it was flying.
Do you have any
You said that-
theories?
Oh, I don't know what the orbs are. I know a lot of them are connected to the UFOs, definitely. But some of them could be spirits. I really think, because my mum died about 4 years ago in this house 4 years ago, and since she died, I've started getting loads of orbs. My brother caught them first. He said, "Oh, this amazing big orb." So I said, "Oh, really?" So I started filming, and that's when I started getting the orbs. And it's only since then that I started getting loads of orbs as well. And some of them have faces in them, and they do look like people you recognise, like family members or something. It's very odd.
All right, sorry, Cody. I didn't mean to interrupt you. What was your
Well,
question?
No, you're good.
I do think they are connected to the UFOs, definitely, a lot of them. What do you think?
You said. Oh, I have no idea when it comes to orbs.
He's fairly new to this topic.
Oh yeah, super new. Like the concept of orbs is interesting because it's almost like a precursor to an event or a post event. One of the two will happen. So you'll see the orbs before you see a UFO, or you will see them a lot after. There's not really
Normally
an in-between.
afterwards. Yeah, normally afterwards. But I have seen orbs on their own without UFOs, like in the house. So I'll see a couple and think, oh, I'll get my camera's orbs around tonight, and I'll capture quite a few in the house. I don't know what they are. In Sri Lanka as well, some of the photographs with all the orbs. On that beach where I was taking the photographs, 55,000 people lost their lives in the big tsunami about 10, 12 years ago, something like that.
Oh
A
wow.
load of people died. So I think somebody was saying to me, oh, they're all the spirits on the beach, on that beach where... So there's some of my photos look like they've got faces in them, really clear faces. Really clear. Don't know if I sent those ones to you actually. I didn't send those.
Yeah, these are the only orbs I've got. The ones that are on screen now, I do
It's not
believe.
orbs, it's like all smoke. I took a few. I was on a balcony in Sri Lanka and I was taking a picture of the sea. Was a bit choppy that day, and I thought I'd take a few pictures of it, and they all came out really foggy and all these faces.
Oh, faces
like
in the fog.
smoke. Yeah.
Huh.
Really scary faces, like all screaming. And I'm thinking, oh my god, this looks like the people that have been killed. Because it looks like there's some disaster and they're all swimming. And I'll send you those later as well. I forgot to send those ones.
Well, there's
I
always
don't know
another
what-
chance to do another video, of course.
Yeah, so I think some of the orbs are connected to spirits. It looks like this is what people are saying, and they've seen relatives in them, and they did start some of them when my mum died. They're the ones in the house, but then there's I call the ones in the sky orbs as well because they are orbs of light, so it mixes people up a little bit. Some people they prefer to think that the orbs are their loved ones and spirits come and say hello. I think it's all connected to the UFOs somehow. I really do. Maybe it's the spirit world is connected to the aliens. This is what I'm thinking.
Yep.
And I
Makes me
really
wonder if
do.
they have
now.
like
I
two
start
different
getting-
words for each orb, like one UFO specific and one spirit specific.
You say there's 2 different names for them?
No, I'm saying like to help with the specification of which
Yeah.
one.
Oh,
thing is
okay.
right.
Yeah, I get
Spirit
you.
orbs, yeah.
Yeah, see,
Makes it sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Oh, you're fine.
you are funny. You are funny.
You were talking about black circle orbs a little bit earlier. Is it just like, I guess the opposite of the yellow one? It would just be black. Do
The
you see
ones I
those
was
like?
the shadow.
No. Whenever you were talking about seeing the orbs in general, you talked
Yeah.
about seeing some black circle orbs.
Yeah, I don't call those orbs funny enough. The light ones I call orbs if they're light, just a light, a big orb of light, and probably that's where I get people mixed up. The other craft, I call them craft or black craft, round black craft.
Mm.
'Cause they are
Oh,
craft. They are definitely craft. You can see they are craft. Not
you're talking about it
helicopters,
in the
not
blue
planes.
picture.
With the 5 or 6.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, those are the ones you're talking about, right,
yeah,
Cody?
they're the 6 little black ones, and the gold one was with those in another picture. In one of the pictures, you'll see it with an orb. So they were all together that day. I have a few pictures of them flying off, and even for craft, they're very close together. Even, I mean, but they're flying together. So no fear of them hitting each other, or they're so precise and such good pilots. Or are they astronauts? Do we call them astronauts? I don't know. They are astronauts, aren't they? Really, if they're coming from another planet.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
No, you're not wrong.
All right, well, let me
Oh.
throw in another picture real quick. What about this one? And I think this is a series of pictures you sent me that may have been taken on the same day. I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, these are the orbs. That's the one that turns into a black craft later on. That was one of the orbs. See, it's got the tail at the back. They
Okay.
were like that. When you
what
zoom in on
about-
those ones, you'll see all those. There was 6 of them. Oh, that's a different one, different day. That was this year. That other one.
Okay, let's talk about that one real quick. When
I
did
hadn't filmed for a while. Sorry.
when did this one happen? Like what?
June, just gone.
Which one?
2021. The bottom one. This is another strange one. I had visions of this before it came. I knew it was coming for about 2 weeks. It was really bugging me, and I kept seeing these. It doesn't normally happen, I don't think. I was seeing these images of UFOs in my mind. I was like, why did I keep thinking of UFOs? And it was all different shapes, and I couldn't work out what it was like. And then this day, it was there. We were out during the garden. My brother was doing some work there as well on a bench or something. And I went in and got my camera and put it on the table. I just had a feeling I was going to see something. Then I went to take a picture and noticed the battery wasn't on my camera. So I ran upstairs, got the battery, put the battery in, and I just turned around and looked straight at this object. I didn't even check the sky. It's like I looked straight at it. I knew it was there instinctively. It was so weird. And it was this really bright object. And I thought, that's definitely a UFO. It was just so bright. It was like a big diamond. It was unbelievable. And the sky was very clear again. Nothing in the sky. Not even a tiny cloud or anything. So I started taking pictures. I got a little video of it, but wasn't very big. It was too small. So I thought, take pictures are better because I can zoom in on the pictures. And I took 12 images. And in each image, it's completely different in each image. It was morphing. It looked to me like it was sort of slowly spinning, very slowly. So with each click, I got a different image of this one, and that's one of the images there.
Those are fine. Those are perfect for me. I
But
I
the
am
3
very.
big lights as well. Those 3 big lights. You can see the 3 big lights on it. They were so bright.
I am very interested in getting the other pictures. Later on,
Okay.
we'll probably make a second part to this video. But so this picture that we're looking at right now, you said that it has lights on it, or is the whole craft illuminated?
It had lights. It had 3, but it was changing. Like there, it looks like the whole thing is illuminated, but in 1 or 2 of the pictures, it looks like it has. You can see 3 big bright lights.
I've always wondered what the significance of lights would be for these craft, and the only thing that I've ever heard people try to explain is basically meant for us to see. Like they're meant to be a visual cue for us to look.
Yeah.
They want to be seen for some reason. What are
Yeah, I
your
have-
thoughts?
I think they definitely want to be seen now. Definitely want to be seen, and they're appearing for lots of people now. And you're going to see them everywhere. And I said this like last year, the year before, that we're going to see a lot more. And they want to be seen. Like before, it used to be so secretive. they used to have, and people would think I was mad. I thought, you know, a lot of people said, you know, you must be dreaming of this, because nobody else saw anything. And I'd see something really quick and it'd be gone. I'd be like, oh my god, no one's gonna believe me. So then I started trying to get evidence, and it's like I've got a sixth sense now, and I sense when they're going to be there, and I'll go and take loads of pictures, and there'll be loads of UFOs in them. Like, my photography isn't that great. They should be better, to be honest. Because
No,
I
you're
get the
fine.
chances, but I'm not making the most of the chances. Sometimes I get bored, and I think it's weird. It is really weird, because some of them are out there for maybe an hour, and if I'm standing there with the camera, it's not doing anything. It's just hung there for an hour. And the minute I turn away, it'll just be gone. It'll disappear. Don't see it flying off. They just disappear. I have some where you just see it fading, disappearing. Really bright object at night. I'm
See,
not getting any messages.
not yet,
So,
at least.
There's been a few, but not like every time they come, they're not communicating. So I'm wondering, what's the purpose? What is the point of it? Why are they letting me get all these photographs and not saying much? So when I hear people say they know all these things and they're telling them every single thing, I doubt them, to be honest.
Yeah, you get kind of skeptical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're not giving that much information. It's been decades for me now, and I'm still not getting that much information. And I'm wide open to them. I've said to them, look, I'm not afraid. Please, I'm here. Please communicate with me. Tell me. Please tell me what you want and tell me what I'm supposed to be doing. And I get sort of it, not like a voice, as I said. It's like a knowing. I'll get answers to something, and it'll be like I just know something. And like some dates of the UFOs as well, when they're going to be here, I'll make a video and I'll say they're going to be here about the 6th of June or 7th of June, and they will be, and I'll take a video and put it up. And I've done that a few times.
That's wild. I wish I had stuff like that happen to me. I've only had one good picture, and even now it's not detailed like this. I think I shared it on my first video ever, but it was nowhere near like this. It's just basically an orb where you can get a long exposure line showing that it moved, and that's pretty much it in the night sky. Because I like to take pictures at night of the stars, because I use a DSLR. You can get a lot of vivid pictures of the Milky Way. And when I first had started, they weren't, like, my pictures weren't the greatest because I was using an old DSLR. So the picture that I got was very, it didn't have great detail to it. Cody, do you have any questions for her right now about anything really?
Yeah. So you said there was a laser light that shot through the window whenever you were with your daughter. Do you know what color the laser light was, or like do you remember?
It's just white,
if it's
just a white,
white?
very pinpoint, like a really very thin pinpoint of a light.
Was it
Very
like
thin.
directed towards you, or where was the light
It just
going?
got me right in the eye. Great
Oh.
shot. Just right in my left eye.
Sniper.
I love British wit, I swear.
I was like, oh my. Straight away I knew it was something odd, because I don't have anything out there
Oh
like
yeah.
that. I've lived there a
Uh,
long time. I've never seen anything like that.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Pinpoint accuracy too. When you
Yeah.
were, so you said you were walking around the ship, like you remembered walking around the ship.
I
But-
remember they showed me. Yeah. They
Okay,
showed.
so
Oh,
you remembered that they
sorry.
showed you, but not the images themselves, just the fact that they had done this thing.
Well, no, what it was they showed me a lot of plants. I saw loads of plants on the ship. There was thousands and like rows and rows and rows of plants going on really far. And I just got a question in my head, like it said you can ask a question, and I
Oh,
just said what's with all the plants, and the answer came in my head. They're for the new planet Earth. That's all, nothing else, just those words, for the new planet Earth. And I sort of just said, oh, okay. And then we carried on walking. And I remember it was just everything was just white. Everything was just completely white. I didn't see anything else in there. No tables, desks, nothing. It was just a place, a big empty place that looked empty except for these plants. And carried on walking around. It was it was a bit curved going around, because I couldn't see straight, if you know what I mean. It was like I could see more as we turned.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was only limited to what you could see. And then I saw there was a load of people on there, loads of people. I'd say there was, well, not loads, maybe about 100 people, and they were all looking at these. I didn't know they were looking at screens, but they were. I saw when I got up to them a bit more, they had a little, not even a screen. It was like in the air, just on the air, you know, like a invisible screen sort of thing. And they were looking at images of. The image I saw was it was like planet Earth. It was Earth, but there was something was happening. There was something coming up out of the ground, like oil, black oil, and it was all
Oh, wow.
coming up out of everywhere, and everything was dying. I could see all dead animal hooves, and trees were falling over, and it was like those kind of images. And I was thinking, oh my god. So I said, what's happening? What's happening with all these people? And they just said they are being categorized. The voice just said they're being categorized. And it must have been in English because I understood it. They're being categorized. So I'm thinking, what are they categorizing people? Why would they be categorizing people? And I was thinking, is it because they were looking at these images, were they checking their emotions according to the images they were seeing and categorizing that way? Like
Oh,
you're an
interesting. Yeah.
You've got empathy, you go over there. You've no empathy, you're psycho, go over there. I don't know. I had all things go through my head like that, but that's all they said, and then that's all I remembered from that one. That
Wow.
was one experience. That's all I remember, and I've been dying to. I mean, 5 hours is a long time to be missing time. I don't think I was standing there all that time for hours. So if I was missing for 5 hours, what on earth could have gone on during all that time? So
Yeah.
that's one of my ambitions and one of my wishes is just to start remembering. But I think these beings, they're really caring, I have to say, because they're really careful about putting you in a position that would harm you in any way. And they know you get called a lunatic and all this, and they know the human mind is very fragile, and this is why they're limited to what they tell you and what they show you, because they know you're not going to cope with it. So I keep saying, I will cope, I promise I'll cope. But then I'll hear a bang or something. I go, oh my god, what's that? It's nearly jump out my skin, you know.
You're
and then it's
alert.
like I'll say, no, I'm not. I'm obviously not ready.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah. So you had to, like, you're not in a survival state. You're not like, I'm in danger with my life.
No,
Uh,
I trust
so
these beings with everything. I really do. I trust them more than any humans.
oh
Because
wow.
it's been such a long time now, and they've helped me. I've asked for help so many times, like financial help, and think miracles will happen. I'll get out of it, you know, if I'm in trouble or something like that. And anything I need doing, I'll ask for help, and it always gets done for me. It's really strange. So I thank them all the time. Thank you, thank you. You put me. But they do a lot of things for me. So I know they're really caring. Nobody can tell me otherwise. I know they really have a lot of love and empathy for this planet.
Normally we do these for about 45 minutes and we kind of trim them down and stuff. So I'll go ahead and ask you, would you be willing to come back on to do a second recording?
Yes, I would, most definitely. So I've really enjoyed it.
Good, good.
And there's a few other experiences I haven't mentioned today, so I'll keep them for next time.
Of course. And Cody, next time we'll go ahead and make sure that we keep it to the point to where you can actually come out of my basement and join us for this interview.
Yeah. I'll try and escape.
Yeah,
so
well.
I can be here. Sorry.
Well, I
But-
love answering questions. Anything anybody wants to ask me, I, give all the information out that I can, and I don't beat about the bush. I'll say it as it is, what I think. If I don't know the answer, I'll tell you, sorry, I don't know.
Do you have anything you would like to say to her or ask her before we get off here?
No questions or anything like that, but I am excited for the next interview. Hopefully I can
thank
be a
you.
part of it, because I got work, and then like Monday and Tuesday are like the days that I have off.
I can
'cause
work
the-
around you whenever you're free, and we fit you in as well. So
Okay, yeah, that would be perfect. I would really enjoy that.
All right. Well, Marie, do you have anything you would like to say to the audience before we get off?
No, just that keep your eyes looking up, because they are going to show themselves a lot more. Because they are here in peace. The ones I'm touch with anyway, definitely here, and they won't be giving the government any secret weapons to control us with. I know that for sure.
Well, I enjoyed it. It was a pleasure and a privilege, and I cannot wait to have you back on. Thank you so
Okay,
much for
thank
coming
you.
on my show, Marie. Seriously.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's been great. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
All right, then. I'll speak to you soon. Eric and Cody, it's been great. Thanks very much.
Yes,
Nice meeting
ma'am.
you, Mary.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Well, guys, like I always say, y'all have a good one.